Hi everyone, welcome to Study Smart Tips. In this channel, we're going to talk about the most efficient ways to study and live your life so you can accomplish the most possible and be as productive as you can in the shortest amount of time possible so you can free up your schedule and do what you love. I'm going to talk about my study routine in this video. I wake up as early as possible, which is 6:30 for me, and I make sure that the first thing that I do is drink water because I really noticed a difference in my energy levels and in my weight also when I drink water first thing in the morning. So the next thing that I do is have a very light breakfast or snack so I can work out after. So I later pack my bags, walk to the nearest park possible or the nearest field where I can have grass or some sort of nature, and then just have my breakfast there if I didn't have it already at home, and then start working out as soon as possible. Now I can do anything that I want. I usually take my mat and either practice yoga like you see over here. Stretching is so good for you. It really energizes you, and believe it or not, I always feel so refreshed and with like an amazing active brain the moment I finish yoga and start studying versus just drink coffee and start studying. Now obviously if you don't practice yoga, you can do anything else like work out with resistance band or do some calisthenics, some push-ups, whatever you can find. If you want me to do workout videos for you, quick workouts that you can do before studying, let me know in the comments below and I will do that for you. So the next thing that I do, like I said, after yoga or my workout morning activity is to catch up on some studying on my mat wherever I am. So if I'm at the beach, then I would do that at the beach. If I'm in the park, then I would do that on the grass in the park. So what I usually do before class, which is I find is very important, is that I look at the professor's syllabus and see what material the professor will touch on in the next class, and I make sure to advance myself in that material before that class. Why? Because I want to make sure that when I attend class, the only thing that I do is listen very carefully to what the professor is saying and only jot down what I couldn't find in the readings or in my preparation. And it's very important to do that because that makes you very productive and it kind of accelerates the process of studying overall. I use this method and it definitely helped me to be a straight A student. By the way, guys, I go in full detail in my book called Straight A Student's Guide to Law School, where I explain how to highlight your material, but also how to target what's important and what's not right off the bat. And so if you're interested in doing that, if you're a law student or looking to go to law school, do check out my book. The link will be in the description below. Now, after I finish reading up on the material in advance, I walk back home and I make my second breakfast if I'm feeling hungry. It's really important because when I'm in class for 3 hours, I want to make sure that my brain is fed and that I can focus on what's important, which is listening to the professor. That being said, I usually make something healthy and quick, make sure that there are healthy fats in it and that it's going to keep me full for a long time. Either I eat this in the moment or pack it to go. Now, the second thing that I do to make sure that I'm wide awake during class is make bulletproof coffee. I don't always do this, but when I do this, I add grass-fed butter to dark coffee. You can add with it coconut oil, organic, or alternatively as a substitute, another option is to add cinnamon to your coffee. I know, a little bit weird, but trust me, it could make a difference. And then you just blend it. I used to blend it in my plastic blender, but I noticed how dangerous this is. And so I started using the pitcher for French presses, believe it or not, and just sifting through that really blends everything together. And then I just serve my drink and enjoy it. Either I take it to go or have it on the spot in my place. Now, the next video is me being in class. I know it doesn't look like I'm in class, but I couldn't film in class because I was on vacation at the time, so just consider that I'm in class right now. What I usually do is literally just listen. I have my arms crossed sometimes just listening to the professor because I have an audio style of learning and it's really important for you to get to know your most productive learning style. So for me, I just listen and I memorize and I hear and I understand. And then if I find something super important, I go back to the materials that I was supposed to prepare for in class or before class, and I highlight what the professor is saying that I find very important, or sometimes I can take notes in the book so I can make sure that when I go back to that theme or that topic, I jotted down what the professor said that was really important. Now remember, I prepared before class, because if you don't, you might think that everything the professor is saying is important, and then the next thing you know is that you took notes that already existed in your material and you just overworked for nothing. Now, I also jot down notes on my syllabus. That's just a technique that I recommend to law students, is to basically summarize all the cases and the material that you need to learn and summarize them in a way that they would fit on your syllabus. So for the law students or the pre-law students watching this video, I highly recommend that you check out my book called Straight A Student's Guide to Law School, and more specifically, the chapters called Simplify and Highlight and Leverage Previous Students' Work, Delegate, and Trust, where I go into full detail on how to extract the most important information from a case in order to put it on such a small form. And it's really important to do that without making any mistakes, because it can cost you your grade in your exam. So I highly recommend that you read those detailed tips in my book. So after class, I go back home and prepare myself to go work out. It's really important, again, to fire up your nervous system and the chemicals in your body so you can make sure that you're wide awake when you're studying and that you're going to be as attentive and productive as possible. So I either work out or I jump in the swimming pool and swim away and have a lot of fun, and then I make it back home as quickly as possible to cook myself a healthy lunch that can maintain my feeling of fulfillment for a long time, so I can focus on studying afterwards and not being hangry. So while I'm studying at home, what I usually do is summarize everything, and that's so important, especially if your exam is just a couple of hours. How are you going to fit in a whole semester worth of information in a couple of hours? Well, the only way to do it is to summarize like I'm doing here. And what I usually do is just summarize by course and then summarize subtopics. And so here I'm dealing with negligence, and as you can see, I'm going to start writing the elements for it and then summarize each case for it. And I usually do that, like I summarize hundreds of pages into 12 or 15 pages, which is amazing, believe me. Now, I obviously, if there's a topic that I don't understand, then I go back to the textbook, I search the topic, and then try to read up a little bit on it. So it's a very targeted approach instead of just like reading the, maybe dozens of pages or more that I'm supposed to read for the day or the night. So as you can see, if I'm not summarizing on my syllabus, I usually grab a sheet of paper and summarize manually this way. I find it a lot easier to shorten things when you're writing them on hand versus on computer, which is why I write everything on hand, especially those checklists that I make that I showed you. Those are things that I bring into exams when the exam is open book. Now near like 5-6 p.m., I usually go and enjoy a quick walk in nature or do something active that's gonna change the scenery for me. Again, the point here is to fire up your nervous system and just change things up so you won't get used to the same thing over time and then your productivity fades with time. So I love to create magic every single day and experience something beautiful every single day, because the more positive you feel, the more excited you feel to study and be productive. And so after I do that, I get back to summarizing what I'm supposed to learn for the day, or basically what the lecture was about during the day. Now, by the end of the night, after I studied almost the entire day, I make sure that also by night, I take a quick walk or meditate. For the law students, don't forget to check out my books. The links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you want more videos like this, and if you want me particularly to make a video about how I prepare for exams, make sure to comment below and let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more, and I hope to see you soon.